Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for another Instant Deck Tech. So as you know, Wednesday means it's Wildcard Wednesday here in Instant Deck Tech Land, and we have a super wild list to check out today. This is White-Blue Charbelcher for Modern, comes to us from Kazawa Takua, who took it to a top 8 finish in a not that small Japanese tournament. I think it was like 43 players, which isn't as small as some tournaments. So congrats to Kazuha on their finish with the deck. A quick reminder before we break down White-Blue Charbelcher for Modern. If you enjoy this deck and you want to see it made into videos, take a minute, click the like button, the subscribe button, leave a comment, anything you can do to support your deck, because whichever deck is most popular gets a shot at being made into videos next week. So first off, before we talk about the deck itself, worth pointing out, only 135 bucks in paper, 37 ticks on Magic Online. Not quite in our budget range, but pretty close to being a budget deck. So if you want to try it out, not super expensive to give it a shot. Anyway, Goblin Charbelcher, the namesake card of the deck. We're used to seeing this in Legacy, in these weird combo decks that play one land typically. You can also use it in red decks because it has an ability that cares about mountains, but this deck kind of flips all that on its head, and Goblin Charbelcher hasn't really caught on in Modern because it has a major deck building restriction. So the power of Charbelcher is it can kill your opponent in one shot. If you get it down, activate it for 3 mana, you reveal cards till you hit a land from your deck, and then it deals damage equal to the number of non-land cards revealed. So if you can reveal at least 20 cards before you reveal land, you just kill your opponent on the spot. It doubles the damage if it's a mountain. That doesn't matter in our deck because we're not playing mountains, we're white-blue. So the thing with this is you gotta have a way to deal with the deck building restriction of not having lands in your deck. In Legacy, you can just play fast mana and play very few lands and use Lion's Eye Diamonds and Lotus Petals and all that stuff to ramp into your Charbelcher. You can't really do that in Modern. So in Modern, we go the other direction and we play lands, but we play Endless Horizons to get all the lands out of our deck. So the trick to this deck is every single land, every single one, is a plains. We have a couple of dual lands, which happen to be plains. We also have a bunch of actual basic plains. So when we cast Endless Horizons, we can exile every single land from our deck, which means when we activate our Charbelcher, we're going to reveal our entire library and deal damage to our opponent equal to the number of cards in our library. So that's the main combo. Endless Horizons can also be a good value card because you get to play one land each of your turns. The problem is if your opponent kills it, you lose all the lands from your deck. So it's a risky card to play in a non-combo way. So this is the kill condition and the main plan of the deck. How we get there, though, is kind of by being a blue-white Enchantress prison style deck. So Sphere of Safety, Ghostly Prisons, keeps the opponent from being able to attack, just locks creatures out of the game pretty much entirely once you get things going. And then we have a bunch of removal spells, which are also enchantments to power up our Sphere of Safeties. Detention Sphere hits anything. Journey to Nowhere is kind of the path to exile of the enchantment world. And then Spreading Seas to deal with lands from decks like Tron and creature lands like Celestial Colonnade. And then we have some counter spells. Mana Leak helps force through our combo pieces against counters. Also just disrupts the opponent, countering something on turn 2, on turn 3. Gets worse as the game goes along if people have a lot of mana, but still a very powerful counter spell in its own right. And then as backup finishers, if we're not winning with our Goblin Charbelcher Endless Horizons combo, Elspeth Sun's Champion can just make a bunch of tokens and then eventually ultimate and win the game. Secure the Waste can also make a bunch of tokens, and it's an instant so we can play it on our opponent's end step after leaving up our mana leaks and stuff. And then Luminarch Ascension takes advantage of the fact that we can kind of stall our opponent's creatures out, which means we're hopefully not losing life, which means we keep getting counters on our Ascension and eventually can just start making a bunch of huge angels for a really low cost. The rest of the main deck, we have some mana rocks, 6 in total. This just helps us get to our Charbelcher, get to our Endless Horizons, get to big Secure the Waste faster. Speeds up the deck a little bit. And then in the mana base, this is kind of the unique part. Because of our deck building restriction, where everything needs to be plains, we have 4 irrigated farmlands, which of course can cycle if we need them to. We have 4 prairie streams and 12 plains, which seems like a really low number, and it is a really low number for a deck that's trying to win with Charbelcher, trying to cast Elspeth and make Secure the Waste. But the mana rocks really help, and these lands make sure that we can exile every single one when we cast Endless Horizons for the Charbelcher kill. If we played fetch lands, we wouldn't be able to exile them, and that would ruin our entire plan of being able to kill our opponent with Charbelcher every single time for sure. As far as the sideboard, Mana Tithe is probably the ultimate gotcha card in Modern. No one expects the white counterspell, but it's very good in the early game. People tend not to expect it, even more so out of the sideboard, so they don't play around it. And then it becomes very strong, because 1 mana doesn't necessarily equal counterspell in Modern. And then Delay is kind of a weird choice for a second counter, but it's great at winning counter wars. It's actually one of the best counters at countering counters, because when a counter comes down off of Suspend, it's not going to have any targets, so it's great at winning counter wars. So I think that's the primary goal of this, is to force through our combo pieces in a really efficient and hard manner. Unlike Mana Leak, it doesn't matter how much mana your opponent has, they're still going to get got by the Delay. Now we have a bunch more creature removal. Porphyry Nodes slowly eats away the board, Wrath of God sweeps away the board, and then Council of Crackdown is like the enchantment version of Shatterstorm. It gets rid of all artifacts. Against a deck like Affinity, it can be very strong if you live long enough. Downside is if your opponent can wear tear it, they get all their stuff back, but it's still a mass artifact hate card in white. And then Gideon's Intervention helps against combo decks. Aura of Silence kills artifacts or enchantments, also slows down decks like Affinity. The problem is it doesn't come down until turn 3, and Affinity's probably already played their hand, but in theory, it can slow down opponents. And then Echoing Truth gets rid of like Leyline of Sanctity or something like that, that's keeping us from Charbelchering our opponent to death. Monastery Siege and Open the Vaults are the protect our stuff plans. So Siege just makes it hard for our opponent to target our stuff, because everything costs 2 more. Plus, we can put it on loot mode to help dig through and find our combo, and Open the Vaults gets back both of our combo pieces from the graveyard. We get back Endless Horizons, we get back a Goblin Charbelcher, along with all our removal and stuff. So in theory, if our opponent counters our stuff, this gets everything back and wins us the game. And that is White-Blue Charbelcher for Modern, and that's our Instant Deck Tech for today. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, help us out by clicking that like button down below. And to keep up on all the latest and greatest, click that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that bell icon to get alerts whenever we have new videos. And if you want to, check out some of our other sweet videos here and here.